What is up, Dream Company family? I just wanted to drop in and just talk to you real fast, just encourage you a little bit. Got up this morning and I was thinking about change. I was thinking about change, and I was thinking about, what are some of the reasons why we don't change. And so, I've taught on this before, and I'm not going to go into a heavy teaching about it now, but I just want to drop a couple points on you that I feel like will encourage you and maybe help you to just, really see some things for what they are. There are really only two reasons we don't change. There's really only two reasons we don't change. One being we don't know how to, which is, just ignorance, and the other is we don't want to. Now, as a believer, I have the belief that God has given us everything that we need to overcome, to be successful, to be whatever He's called us to be. Now, if you believe that, then there's really only two reasons that you can't change, that you can't become the thing that you want to become, that you can't achieve the things that you want to achieve. And one of them is maybe you just don't know how. And that's just ignorance, and that's okay. Ignorance is not an evil thing. It's not a bad thing necessarily. It's really just about, I heard someone say, we don't know what we don't know. And so, for example, if someone does not know how to communicate, by default, they're going to communicate badly. They're going to fail at communication. I'm sure we all know someone who, when they talk, they just say whatever they're thinking. They give no consideration for how a person is feeling, or they're not very tactful, or they're not, it's like they're just saying what they feel and they're being honest, but they fail at understanding that communication is not just about words. It's also about how we say the words and our body language. And I mean, there's a lot of things that go into communication that help us send a message and help us convey what we're trying to say, other than just the words that we're speaking. So if you don't understand how to change that, then you will always fail at it. You will always fail because you don't know how to do it. You don't know what you don't know. And the horrible part about that is that some people believe that they're doing it correctly. So that's another reason they don't change, which of course brings us to number two: you don't want to. Now, interestingly enough, number two actually, solves the problem of number one. If you desperately want to change, then ignorance doesn't become a problem anymore, because when someone has a desire to do something, they will seek out knowledge to do it. When you are absolutely determined to make changes, to grow, to become better, nothing can stop you. Absolutely nothing can stop you. Again, I believe, as a believer in Jesus Christ, that God has given us everything that we need to succeed. Oftentimes we are praying and ask God to do things for us that He's already given us the power to do. And so when you understand, okay, I want change, God has given me the ability and the capacity to make changes in my life with His help. But also there's a part that I have to play. When I have that desire, when there's a level of desperation, when there's a passion, when there's something in you that's like, I will not tolerate this thing in my life anymore. I mean, I know that we understand this concept, even in our own lives on a basic level. It's like, if I see something happening around my house or in my family or with my kids that I can control, that I can change, if I'm absolutely determined for that not to happen, it's not going to happen. Nothing can stop you from making the changes except for you just not wanting to do it. Now, it's one thing when you don't know how to do it, but when you desire it, when you're passionate about it, when you know, I will not tolerate this has to change, I have to grow, this has to become better, whatever the scenario, when you have that type of desire, you will research, you will look for answers, and I'm here to tell you that when you're passionate like that, answers will find you. It's not some deep philosophical thing that some big spooky thing that I'm trying to explain to you. It really is that simple. Something as practical as, when my wife wants to know how to do something around the house, you know what she does? She Googles it. It's that simple. She doesn't have to, when we were younger, we had it, Encyclopedia Britannica and all that stuff. You got to do all that stuff now. You ain't got to go to the library. You ain't got to read no books. Go to Google. You can go on YouTube right now and find videos on how to do stuff around your house. Stuff that you used to have to hire an actual professional to do, you don't have to do anymore. You can actually go and get the information for yourself. There's so much information and opportunity out there for us to do the things that we want to do, to learn, to grow. There's absolutely no excuse. But even then, when we didn't have Google and we didn't have YouTube and we didn't have those things, if I was absolutely determined to become something, to do something, ask anybody who's over 40 and successful, they were determined. It wasn't by luck. It wasn't something they just did by happenstance. They were determined to do what they did, and they did it. If you don't know how to do something, that's okay. The problem is not that you don't know how. The problem is you just don't want to. So if you're struggling with trying to change some things in your life, if you're struggling to grow in an area, you're struggling, it may not be just because you don't want to. It's maybe you just don't really, it's not, so I'm sorry. It may not be that you don't know how to. That's a part of it, but it may just be that you just don't want to. And it's okay. We can own that. That's how you really get the growth that you need, because you own the fact that, hey, I know this needs to change, but I don't want it to change. That's a good place to be, because at least you can be honest with yourself. When you pretend you want change, but then you don't want to put in the work to create the change, then you're lying to yourself, and then you really won't ever change. Because you will keep thinking, oh, I'm doing all these things and I'm going through all these motions, but you're just busy. You're not productive. And so you have to learn how to, you have to be honest with yourself and say, do I really want to change? And then once I know that I do really want to change, are you willing to do whatever it takes to change? It comes down simply to that. It doesn't have to be spiritual. Even if you don't believe in God, people understand that, I can't be stopped. You can't stop me from having what I want. You can't, and I know that we live in a world where, certain things, people are in power and certain things, but I'm here to tell you that despite all of that, despite all of the these people are oppressing us and these people are holding us back and Trump and this and that, I'm telling you, this solid principle that is universal, no matter what you believe, no matter where you live, no matter what's going on in your life, you can have and you can become the thing that you want to become. If you're desperate for it, if you're passionate about it. Recently, I did a teaching in one of our empowerment seminars at Dream Company that there are 3 ways to confront personal barriers. You have to identify them, you have to confront them, and then you need accountability. You need to examine what it is that's stopping you. You need to confront it with the truth, and then you need to have some people around you that will hold you accountable when you are struggling and when you're weak, because it's not just going to be as simple as, oh, I'm going to change. It's like some things take a while, some things take years, and when you have other people around you that are heading in the same direction as you, that accountability piece gives you an extra bit of strength that gets you over that hump. And so again, that all comes back down to you desiring to change. If you don't really want change, then you won't seek to identify it. Even if you identify it, you won't confront it. And even if you confront it, you don't want nobody holding you accountable. You don't want anybody in your business. You don't want anybody telling you you can do it, because you really don't want to do it. And that's okay. Be honest with yourself. Stop talking about what you're going to do and who you're going to be and what you're going to become when you really don't want that. Because everybody knows you're full of it. I'm sorry. Let's call it what it is. It's like, let's stop talking and let's start doing. Let's stop making all these announcements, especially on social media. I'm doing this and I'm about this and I'm on this grind. But what work have you put in? Do you really want it, or are you just talking? So I just want to encourage you, if you're struggling in that area, look in the mirror and be like, do I really want this, or am I just playing with this? Am I just talking? Because that's something we do now in the world. It's like we do a lot of talking, a lot of Facebook posting and Instagramming, and I'm on. What are you doing? What work are you putting in? What's the plan? Do you have people holding you accountable? Are you connected to someone that can teach you how to do it? What have you put in place? What things have you put in place practically to get you to that place? Or are you just sitting around and it's just kind of an emotional exercise? It's like, I'm trying. It's like, stop trying and do it. like you know, I'm a kind of a nerd, so you know, I like Star Wars, and one of the biggest quotes in Star Wars was Yoda was saying, you know, there do or do not. There is no try. Stop trying. Do it or don't do it. So, you know, just be encouraged, guys. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not here. I'm trying to beat y'all up, but I want to really just keep it real with you. It's like we can do what we want. We can do what we want. Do you want it though? Do you want it is the question. So be encouraged, guys. If you have questions, or you just want to follow us for you know these the daily inspirational videos and different things. Not daily. I'm sorry, weekly. You can follow us on YouTube at Dream Company Movement. You can also follow us on social media at Dream Co 2918 at 2918. That's at Dream Co 2918. That's on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And you know, feel free to come join our movement, be a part of our community, be a part of a group of people that are striving to fulfill their dreams and striving to become more, not just more, but to fulfill their full potential and to leave this place empty, leaving answers, making it better than the way we found it. Okay, so I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.